Welcome all of you to coming to the Chamber Mixer tonight. Hello Port Hueneme is going to tape this so that it can be shown to the whole community, and they'll have a chance to meet the Chief of Police. And Tracy has set this up, and we're going to have her introduce the Chief, and then we will video the people asking questions and the Chief with his answers. So why don't you introduce the Chief?
Hello, Port Hueneme. We're excited to have you joining us here remotely from your comfort of your living rooms. I have the honor tonight of introducing new Chief of Police, Andrew Salinas. Welcome, Chief, to Port Hueneme.
Thank you.
The Chamber of Commerce has always taken a lot of pride in the fact that we have a good relationship with our city and with our police force. And over the last 5 years that I've been with the Chamber, this will be the third time that we've actually had this forum for you to have an opportunity to meet some of our business people, talk about business concerns. And we also get a very diverse group at a business mixer because we have the Chief of Police. We have a very strong citizens presence here this evening. So I want to take a quick shout out and say thank you to all the residents who came out tonight to have coffee with the Chief. And I guess I'll start it off by asking, what is your main agenda now that you're, what you said, 6 weeks, 10 weeks into the job?
10 weeks.
Yeah.
10 weeks as of Monday.
Congratulations.
Why, thank you. First, I want to say thank you for everyone for being here. I can't believe you're all here to see me. That's pretty amazing. I don't think I've had this big of a crowd to come in and specifically see me. So thank you. I'm excited about being here. As you all know, I came from the city of Oxnard, and so I'm ready to make some changes. And thank you for the introduction, Tracy. And so in question in terms of what my priorities are here in the city of Port Hueneme, first and foremost, the Port Hueneme Police Department is going to be a professional organization. And we're going to provide and continue to provide that level of customer service you guys have come to expect from its police department. Yes. And number two, crime reduction. That's always a concern, especially in our primary function as a police agency. Number three, traffic and pedestrian safety. Number four, community engagement, which is extremely important. You guys all need to know what's happening with your police department. We need to be a transparent and accountable organization, and that's something I think that's been lacking over the last few years. And so that's why you've seen a lot of, we've started our social media page with Facebook, starting to get some more things up on our city website, and so we want you guys to know what your police department is doing, whether it be good or even bad. And number five is community policing. I started with the Oxnard Police Department at a very young age. At 21 years old, and in my third year I was working at a storefront in an area called La Colonia, and so I really learned all about community policing there, and how to reach out to the community, how to empower our community, how to foster accountability with the community, and how to get them involved to solve the problems of our community. So that's something I bring here and want to instill upon our residents, that we have to do this together, and we have to work together as partners. Normally you hear the word collaborating. I like to use the term partnerships, because when you use the word partnerships, it relays that there's in fact a relationship between the two people. And so I'm excited about being here. I want to thank Rod Butler for hiring me. I'm looking forward to this, and if any of you guys have questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Or I can sit here and talk about myself a little bit more.
Let's have questions, please.
Yes,
Question
ma'am.
right here.
Yes, I live not too far from here, and I've been having problems every night for the past month, if not more. They've let out fireworks, and it is very annoying. I've called, and I understand why they can't pinpoint it, because they do it different hours, different times. But I'm willing almost to go out and sit and find out where it is, but I know that's too dangerous to find out which house is letting them off. But for the past month, if not more, they didn't let it off. I mean, the other night it sounded just like a bomb. It was so loud.
So what it probably sounds like, it's probably the same person or the same residents actually perpetrating this. So if we can somehow narrow down where it's coming from, and then we can act on it, and hopefully maybe get your neighbors involved in terms of trying to pinpoint where the...
I've gone down the street and everybody is very disgusted, but they always say, it sounds like it's over there, it's over there. And obviously it sounds like it's right next door because it's so loud. But it's very annoying. They start at 8:45 and then they wait for about a half hour to an hour and then they do it again. And then I think last night it was at 12 o'clock. And it's very annoying to live in a community like this and to have that and not be able to enjoy your rest.
I absolutely agree with you. And so what we can do to address that issue is if you give me your address or the actual neighborhood you live in, what we'll do is we'll proactively go out in the next couple weeks and actually let the residents know our stance on fireworks, the fines involved with fireworks, the stance that we're going to take between all year long really, but from now until the 4th of July to really let your neighborhood know that we're going to be out there. And then maybe they'll help us in identifying who the perpetrators are and how they can best report that. Something that we're doing new this year is that we've started an actual email address, fireworks@cityofporthueneme.org, so you can actually email us residents in the neighborhood that are actually setting off fireworks so that we can specifically identify and make contact with these individuals and have them stop and warn them. So you don't necessarily have to call the police department, but you can email us and we'll handle it that way. Yes, ma'am.
I might have the exact information wrong because it's just been rumors that I've been hearing, but there was a body found in a street. Was that on Perkins Road? And people they heard gunfire, but they didn't think anything about it because they thought it was fireworks.
Yes, so about, I believe it was last Friday, Oxnard had their 8th homicide, and that was an actual homicide that occurred in an alley off of J Street in Perkins. And what ended up being, as thought of as fireworks, ended up being actual gunfire, and the victim was not located until the following morning.
Mayor Fick?
I got a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
The first is, Oxnard's been faced recently with some activity. It may be gang related, we're not really 100% sure. But the other side of the border, Port Hueneme, we seem to be doing okay. What's the difference between our jurisdictions? That there seems to be more trouble in Oxnard and the homicides that have occurred versus Hueneme. Do you see a difference? How can you explain that difference?
So, based on my experience having worked at Oxnard and seeing what's happening now, you'll find that most of the victims are males between the ages of 18 and 35 who are out after the hours of 9 o'clock and 2 in the morning. And so people are out and about more so in Oxnard than they are in Port Hueneme. We don't have a lot of people of that demographic just wandering the streets, in essence looking for trouble. And so it's a little easier to target people who are out and about. And so in this community, we don't see a lot of that. People are very mindful, they go about their business, and so it's a lot harder to find a victim in our community than it is in the city of Oxnard. So I think that's why we've been so fortunate. We don't have the people that they're attempting to target in our community in terms of retaliating, or we don't have necessarily gangs in our community that represent the city of Port Hueneme, so that trouble is less likely to come into our neighborhoods. Yes, sir.
One of the big issues across the whole country right now is when somebody calls in and reports. Number one, the average person is going to say, the cops are going to know about me. And I think you guys softened that blow here. Number two, Latinos might call. What happens if a Latino person calls? They may have been here for 15 or 20 years, but they don't have a green card. How are you going to respond to that? Are you going to have, like they do in LA, they want to put them in jail right away, or are you guys going to work with that?
So I recently met with a group just to let everybody know immigration is a hot topic right now, and as far as it stands with not only the city of Port Hueneme but all the police chiefs across Ventura County, we don't care what your immigration status is. We will not ask you whether you're a victim, whether you're a suspect, or whether you're a witness to a crime, or whether you're an anonymous RP over the telephone. That's not our concern. That's a federal matter. So we are here to help you regardless of your immigration status. So my officers have been advised of that. They will get in trouble if they at all ask you what your immigration status is, because our job is to serve our community, and it's irrelevant whether you have a green card or don't have a green card. So to answer your question is, that's not even a question that we should be asking, and we're going to go do the job that we're asked to do by our community, regardless of your immigration status. And so that is something that the federal authorities will handle once you are actually transported to county jail, and they handle it on that end. But in terms of what happens in the city, that will not be happening.
Good, thank you.
And we have a question in the young lady in the back, set her hand up.
I can't see, so.
That's okay.
Okay, so I did a little homework and I noticed that, I'm Michelle. I'm almost a clinical psychologist, and I have something that I'm curious about. So I noticed that there is basically a lack of city programs for youth and families that are put on by the city, and it seems to be the voice that I'm hearing from community members that the crime in the city has been a barrier, one of the barriers to that happening. So I'm wondering what you see as your role and the City of Hueneme Police Department's role in resolving that barrier.
So one of my key priorities that I made mention was community engagement. And so I am letting my officers know that there's an expectation and there's a priority that I expect them to be engaged in the community. But first of all, it starts with me setting the example, because I have to hold myself accountable before I hold my officers accountable. So you will find that I am actively engaged in the community, whether it be Boys and Girls Club, the Salvation Army, being on the board of the California Strawberry Festival, actually attending the youth program fair that we just had recently and participating in that. We just recently went out to Channel Islands High School and Hueneme High School to sell our Explore program so people can be part of the Explore Academy. So I truly believe that we do need to engage our youth and get them involved in activities, because I think the number one thing that really gets our youth in trouble is boredom. And if we can give them some sort of outlet or some sort of activity or some sort of program, then that's going to have an impact in our crime.
We have great programs in that we do have a Boys and Girls Club that services our community. We do have the Naval Sea Cadets, the Ben Morrell Naval Sea Cadets. But unless you have a father figure in your life or somebody going, you should do this, or you're going to do this.
Is the Sea Cadets open to everyone or only military
Johnny, I'm going to
families?
defer to you on that.
Sea Cadets is over ages 10 to 17.
And is it for the entire community? Or?
Yes, anybody.
Mhm.
We have kids from all over the community, Hueneme, Oxnard, Ventura. We have come as far away as San Fernando Valley. So to any kid, ages of 10 to 17.
It's a nationwide program too.
It's a
Yeah.
nationwide program.
Bernadette.
But I also want to remind everybody that the library has lots of programs for kids, and especially during the summers. So do check out our website, come in, we can give you.
What ages though? Are there programs for teens where teens can be active?
There are some, so we can talk.
And can I add to that as well? There's other programs, and we can't rely just on the police department alone.
I was just
To carry out the
my
battle.
question to eliminating the crime barrier. 'cause
The
I think
Neighborhood for Learning program is funded by the tobacco tax people in
My
the state of
child's in
California. Pardon me?
My child's in it.
And I'm on the board with that, and it's been active in the community for many years. And it's all about preschool education and getting not only the children ready, but the parents of those early childhood experiences, getting them ready as well. But the Boys and Girls Club, a little more needs to be said about that. It was only a year, 2 years ago that the city council actually sold the building for the Boys and Girls Club to the club. And that was really important because for years it was on a year annual lease. And so the club could not invest the dollars in future activities if they only had a year's lease. By selling them the building, now a lot more is potentially going to be able to happen at the Boys and Girls Club. And drop by sometime, just drop right on in. The community, the public is welcome anytime at the Boys and Girls Club. So it's more than just the police department. There's a lot of different people out there doing things in the community, and sometimes they don't toot their horn very loudly.